Ethiopia follows its own unique calendar system called the Ethiopian calendar, also known as the Ge'ez calendar. The Ethiopian calendar has 12 months of 30 days each, and a 13th month of 5 or 6 days depending on whether or not it is a leap year. The Ethiopian calendar is a type of solar calendar, and it is based on the Coptic calendar which is used by the Coptic Orthodox Church in Egypt. The Ethiopian calendar is approximately 7 years and 8 months behind the Gregorian calendar, which is the most widely used calendar in the world. For example, in the Ethiopian calendar, the year 2022 corresponds to the year 2014 in the Gregorian calendar. The Ethiopian calendar is used in Ethiopia for religious, cultural, and civil purposes, and it is also used by the Ethiopian Orthodox Church for calculating the dates of religious holidays and events. The Ethiopian calendar, also known as the Ge'ez calendar, has a long and fascinating history that dates back to ancient times. The Ethiopian calendar, also known as the Ge'ez calendar, has a long and fascinating history that dates back to ancient times. It is believed to have been created during the reign of King Ezana of Aksum, who ruled Ethiopia from around 320 to 360 AD. The Ethiopian calendar is based on the Coptic calendar, which is used by the Coptic Orthodox Church in Egypt. The Ethiopian calendar has 12 months of 30 days each, and a 13th month of 5 or 6 days depending on whether or not it is a leap year. The months are named after various Christian religious festivals and events, as well as important agricultural seasons. For example, the first month of the year is called Meskerem, which marks the beginning of the Ethiopian New Year, while the second month is called Tikimt, which is the season of harvest. The Ethiopian calendar is a type of solar calendar, and it is based on the Julian calendar, which was introduced by Julius Caesar in 45 BCE. However, the Ethiopian calendar has some unique features, such as the fact that it is approximately 7 years and 8 months behind the Gregorian calendar, which is the most widely used calendar in the world. This is because the Ethiopian calendar does not include the extra day that is added to leap years in the Gregorian calendar. The Ethiopian calendar has played an important role in the religious, cultural, and civil life of Ethiopia for many centuries. It is used by the Ethiopian Orthodox Church for calculating the dates of religious holidays and events, and it is also used for agricultural purposes, such as marking the beginning of planting and harvesting seasons. Despite the fact that the Ethiopian calendar is not widely used outside of Ethiopia, it remains an important part of the country's cultural heritage and identity. Ethiopia has a long history of interaction with other parts of the world, dating back to ancient times. Throughout its history, Ethiopia has maintained close ties with other African countries, as well as with countries in the Middle East and Europe. In recent times, Ethiopia has become an important player in the global economy, and it has established diplomatic relations with countries all over the world. When interacting with other countries, Ethiopians typically use the Gregorian calendar, which is the most widely used calendar in the world. The Ethiopian calendar, also known as the Ge'ez calendar, is primarily used for religious and cultural purposes within Ethiopia. However, when conducting business or communicating with other countries, Ethiopians typically use the Gregorian calendar to avoid confusion and ensure clarity. In addition to using the Gregorian calendar, Ethiopians interact with the world in a variety of ways. Ethiopia is a member of the United Nations, the African Union, and the World Trade Organization, among other international organizations. Ethiopia is also home to many international aid organizations and non-governmental organizations, NGOs, that work to improve living conditions and promote economic development in the country. Ethiopia has a rich cultural heritage that is celebrated and recognized around the world. The country is known for its ancient Christian churches, traditional music and dance, and unique cuisine. Ethiopians also participate in international events such as the Olympic Games and World Cup Soccer, where they compete with other countries on the world stage. Overall, Ethiopia interacts with the world in a variety of ways, using the Gregorian calendar as the standard calendar for international communication and conducting diplomacy through various international organizations. Let's have a look on other types of calendars. Solar calendars. Solar calendars are based on the position of the sun in the sky. They are the most common type of calendar and are used by many cultures around the world. The solar calendar year is based on the time it takes for the Earth to complete one orbit around the sun, which is approximately 365.24 days. The most well-known solar calendar is the Gregorian calendar, which is used in most of the world today. Lunar calendars. Lunar calendars are based on the phases of the moon. They were used by many ancient civilizations and are still used by some cultures today. The lunar month is based on the time it takes for the moon to complete one orbit around the Earth, which is approximately 29.5 days. The Islamic calendar is an example of a lunar calendar that is still used today. Lunisolar calendars. Lunisolar calendars combine both solar and lunar systems. They are based on the position of both the sun and the moon in the sky. The Hebrew calendar and the Chinese calendar are examples of lunisolar calendars. Julian calendar. The Julian calendar was introduced by Julius Caesar in 45 BCE. It was a solar calendar that had 365 days in a year, with an extra day added every 4 years to account for the extra fraction of a day. The Julian calendar was replaced by the Gregorian calendar. The Julian calendar was replaced by the Gregorian calendar in most countries, but it is still used by some Orthodox churches. Mayan calendar. The Mayan calendar was used by the ancient Mayan civilization in Central America. It was a complex system of calendars that included several cycles of days, months, and years. The Mayan calendar was based on both solar and lunar systems and was used for agricultural and religious purposes.